But there was a number of years where I did not want to live on a daily basis. I said to God, why have you let me wake up this morning? Why didn't I die in my sleep? And I had no real reason. There wasn't one thing that made this happen. This is a continuous journey for years and years and years of depression and anxiety. It wasn't after the fight. I'd been suffering with it my whole life. You know, I was a little boy and I didn't know what this feeling was. I used to feel horrible, terrible, feel like I was being left behind or something was wrong, and even though nothing was wrong. And I later found out, 27 years later, that it was anxiety that I've been suffering with my whole life. The feeling that something's about to happen and nothing happens. So, after I won the championship off of Vladimir, the Everest was climbed. There was no more for me to do. In my mind, I'd achieved everything I ever wanted to do. One, being world champion, and two, beating one of the greatest heavyweights of the last 20, 30 years. When I was 14, 15 years old, I used to watch Vladimir Klitschko on the TV as a world champion, heavyweight champion. And I used to say to people, I can beat that man. And nobody would listen. Everyone, yeah, whatever. And the more I said it, the more I believed it. And it came true. So when something like that happens, when the unthinkable becomes reality, there's just nothing else for you at that moment. If you're an addicted personality and you everything you do is all or nothing, when you achieve that greatness you've always wanted, you're like, is this it? What next? And that was exactly the point that I was at. But before the Klitschko fight, I've got guys in the team, they'll tell you the truth with no need to lie. He said, what are you going to do after you beat Klitschko? I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Probably be depressed for the next 2 years. I said, because after every high, there's going to be a massive low. And I did. I couldn't control it. I knew it was coming, but couldn't stop it. It was like a steam train rolling at 100 miles an hour and trying to stand in front of it, no stopping it. And it's like shaking a bottle of champagne up with the corkscrew half hanging out. It's going to explode. And it did. And then there was no stopping me at all. It was 2 years later. I've been out for 2 years, out the ring. I was 400 pounds in weight. They stripped all my belts off me. I was a shadow of my former glory. I looked in the mirror and I was embarrassed, ashamed, let down, disappointed. There isn't a word that I could use that's worse enough that I could say. I looked at myself and I thought, you're a failure. And it was only when I saw doctors and professional help, people who specialise in these problems, that I was coming to grips with what I was suffering with. And it is a disease. It's a disease like no other because no one can see it. So I started seeing these doctors and I got on my knees and I poured my heart out. I was crying. I was in that dark room for, must have been on my knees for 10, 20 minutes, thinking what I've done to myself and just let everything I ever wanted to say out. And when I got up off that floor, I felt like I was 210 pounds. For the first time in over 2.5 years, I knew what I was going to do and how I was going to do it. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, because no matter what they're going through in their life right now, I've already been there and done it. I will continue to go down that same path until the day that I die. The best thing I have in my life is love. From my wife, my kids. I don't think you can get anything better than love. If you can really be loved and really love people, there is no better than that.